Hey, what is up mortals? ObsidianZed here, and before we get into today's video, there's something I'd like to say. I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go to the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, if you did not know, only 25% of you are subscribed to us. So please hit that subscribe button and click that bell icon. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the video. In this deep dive, we will be exploring Hawks from My Hero Academia. Keigo Takami, also known as the wing hero Hawks, is the current number 2 and former number 3 pro hero. He rose to rank 2 following All Might's retirement and Endeavor's rise to rank 1. Keigo was born on the island of Kyushu in Fukuoka. The floor of what can be assumed to be Keigo's childhood home was shown to be littered with garbage, broken shards, and alcohol bottles, and Keigo himself was portrayed as an expressionless, quiet child. When he was still a child, he was saved by Endeavor, which caused Keigo to admire him. It is likely because of this that he got an Endeavor doll. At a certain point in his childhood, Keigo rescued several people in a high-speed car accident. The public was shocked to discover the person who saved the victims was a young child. This led to the Hero Public Safety Commission deciding to train him to become a hero. It was noted that the commission drilled interpersonal skills into him from a young age to master the art of deception and infiltration. The commission had him abandon his real name and made him undergo years of difficult training, which he accepted to be a hero like his idol, Endeavor. Keigo created his own hero agency at the early age of 18. By the second half of that very same year, he managed to reach top 10 hero rankings, making him the first pro hero to be in the top 10 at such a young age. 4 years later, Keigo became the number 3 pro hero, with only All Might and Endeavor being ahead of him without even trying. Unlike countless heroes, Keigo had never really been interested in being the strongest, or being like All Might. Instead, he continued to admire Endeavor. During the League of Villains' rise, Keigo took on Fumikage Tokiyami as a student intern due to Keigo wanting to obtain more information regarding the villain group. So he decided to pick Fumikage as he had placed 3rd during the UA Sports Festival. However, during his internship, Keigo fought crime too fast for Fumikage to keep up with, and when talking to him, only showed interest in information about the league. Fumikage returned to Keigo's side once again during his hero work study. This time, Fumikage tried his best to keep up with Keigo using his new techniques. This impressed Keigo, who decided to take his protege for a flight over the city as a reward. He commended Fumikage for compensating for his weakness, but advised him to continue improving his strengths as well. Keigo believed that Fumikage had wings and did not need to be confined to the ground. Keigo's "be free like a bird" tutelage helped Fumikage to develop his own super move, Black Fallen Angel. After the Camino attack, Yokohama, the Hero Public Safety Commission, approached Keigo, assigning him to the mission to infiltrate the League of Villains as a double agent. In November, Keigo became the rank 2 pro hero due to All Might's retirement during the second half of the year's Hero Billboard chart JP, where he interrupted Edgeshot's speech due to his lack of interest. Later on backstage, Keigo approached Endeavor requesting they team up due to concerning reports of Nomu sightings within his area. As Keigo was bringing Endeavor for lunch in Kyushu, Keigo effortlessly took out Destro's follower using his feathers. He rescued a dog from being run over, and helped a granny climb the stairs, all while he was walking and talking with Endeavor. Keigo was also shown to be extremely popular with the general public, as many fans approached him for photos or autographs. While having lunch at the Yakitori restaurant on top of the Umai building, Keigo and Endeavor were attacked by a high-end Nomu, which leads to Endeavor getting an injury on his left eye. Later that day, Keigo meets up with Dabi in an alley where they discuss their initial plan. Keigo expressed his anger for Dabi not keeping to the plan, where Dabi responds telling Keigo to not trust him as Dabi may just be using Keigo. Dabi also brought up the fact that Keigo brought Endeavor even though it should have been a random hero, and also questioned the lack of casualties during the incident. Keigo explains the fact that he had to keep up his appearance as a hero, which takes Dabi's suspicions off of him before leaving. Keigo visits Endeavor in the hospital due to his guilt from using Endeavor in order to gain the League of Villains' trust, which caused Endeavor to get seriously injured. After Endeavor's discharge from the hospital, Keigo walks with him to the airport, where Endeavor raises his suspicion over the timing of the Nomu attack, which Keigo claims was due to the high-profile presence of the 2 top heroes, which attracted the villain's attention. Later on, in the Meta Liberation arc, Keigo attempts to contact Dabi to no avail. This leads to Keigo suspecting the existence of an issue due to the League of Villains' unusual behavior before flying off. While flying, Keigo has a flashback of a prior meeting with Dabi where he was given the final task for Keigo to prove himself to the League. For the task, Keigo visits the rank 3 pro hero Best Jeanist, who welcomes Keigo into his home and reveals that he had lost a lung due to his defeat during the Camino incident, and also that he plans to reveal that fact to the public soon. Keigo responds by telling the rank 3 hero how unfortunate that is before unsheathing his feather blade, just as it switches back to the present, showing Keigo flying past a billboard revealing that Best Jeanist has gone missing. Keigo later makes contact with Dabi, revealing that he was aware of the League's attack on Deka City, showing Dabi Best Jeanist's body, which gets Dabi's approval despite him doubting its authenticity. During the Endeavor Agency arc, Keigo notices Endeavor confronting the villain Star Servant, chasing him through an alley. Noticing Endeavor about to get ambushed, he swoops in and takes out the minions who were about to ambush Endeavor and happen to encounter Endeavor's interns. After the fight, Keigo chats with Izuku and Bakugo briefly before getting questioned by Endeavor for the reason he was there. However, due to the listening devices planted in his wings, he could not inform Endeavor of the growing threat directly. He instead knowingly contradicts himself by praising the Meta Liberation Army in hopes that Endeavor will catch on. He then hands copies of Destro's autobiography with certain parts highlighted to Endeavor's interns before flying off and returning to the Paranormal Liberation Front's base and uses his wings to continue to spy on their plans. Before we get back into the dive, I'd like to say that in case you didn't know, we are only one of many We the Celestials channels. So if you have the sugar tooth for great storytelling, please give our What If channels a visit as well. No matter if it's My Hero Academia What Ifs or Naruto What Ifs, we've got you covered. Did we get your attention? Great, make sure you click the icon in the top right corner or check the description below for the links to the other channels. Now with that out of the way, let's get back into the dive. During the Paranormal Liberation War arc, Keigo tricks the surveillance of the Paranormal Liberation Front while he preserves his facades. He pretends to help them, acting honest, reliable, and devoted while he simultaneously gathers sensitive information on the organization without drawing suspicion. He gathers a hint from his superior regarding Oburo's hospital, which allows him to piece the information together with the information that Tomoro was in the mountains nearer Kyoto to locate his target. Hawks then had his contacts organize a raid of the hospital and an attack on the Paranormal Liberation Front's headquarters. Once the raid starts, Keigo decides to make his move and attack twice using his feather blades and corners twice in the room with several floating feather blades. Keigo reveals himself as the double agent to Twice and explains how he manipulated Twice due to the threat his quirk poses, revealing his plan of taking Twice into custody the moment the war is over. This leads to Twice having a mental breakdown, blaming himself for allowing Hawks to reveal information to the other heroes and putting his friends in danger. Keigo tells Twice that he wishes to redeem him as he believes that Twice is a good person. Enraged by Keigo's words, Twice creates countless clones of himself to combat Keigo. Fortunately, Keigo was able to subdue Twice thanks to his speed, but before he could finish him off, Keigo gets blasted by Dabi's blue flames, which sends both Hawks and Twice flying. After some fighting, Dabi manages to knock Keigo down, stomping and burning him simultaneously. Fortunately for Keigo, Tokiyami arrives in the nick of time and saves Hawks and escapes. Keigo is a slim man of average height, and he pointed out that his back muscles are not broad enough. He has messy blonde hair swept backwards with some of the front tufts sticking up in arcs above his head. He has thick lashes and faint stubble on his chin, and after his fight with the League of Villains Dabi, he has a lasting scar on the left side of his face. His gold brown eyes have a triangular pupil and somewhat resemble those of a bird. He also had triangular marks around his eyes that are naturally innate since he already had them as a child. Thanks to his quirk, Fierce Wings, he has a pair of large, bright red wings with feathers that lengthen gradually the further down they go. Keigo wears a black shirt with a golden pattern similar to a ripple in a pond, and a tan-colored jacket with a high collar, which has the cuffs of the sleeves and insides lined with white fur, and jet black gloves. Keigo typically wears a pair of yellow headphones over his ears, which can rarely be seen. His headphones most likely are for protecting his ears, since the velocities he moves can damage his eardrums to an extent beyond repair. He also has a square-shaped lobe piercing in each of his ears. Keigo also wears a yellow-tinted visor to protect his eyes from radiation above the clouds, and it also keeps air and dirt particles out of his eyes when flying at high speeds. His jacket is custom modified with 2 large slits over his shoulder blades, which allow his wings to protrude easily. His costume resembles an aviator's uniform. Keigo is shown to possess high levels of intelligence, both emotionally and logically. He promotes a carefree and upbeat attitude, while his constant vigilance often hides under layers of serenity and composure. Furthermore, Keigo pretends to be laid back while being on constant alert. Keigo obeys the HPSC without hesitation, but with some subliminal cynicism. Nevertheless, Keigo dislikes formalities and is often unpredictable while being cocky and taunting. He acts calm and jokingly submissive since he does not care about his social status or recognition. Keigo often uses sarcasm. An example of such was when he agrees serenely when Katsuki Bakugo claims to be faster than him, and he reacts with ironic adaptation when someone claims him to be a lesser. Keigo believes that widespread approval is the most crucial metric a pro-hero should be judged for, since it is the hero's task to put the citizens at ease. This is something that he claims that he is incapable of doing. Keigo displays a preference towards a lower ranking as a hero, as it would grant him greater freedom and allow him to avoid the burdens of being one of the top heroes. He states his desire is to patrol in a free, leisurely fashion and take it easy. Still, Keigo is said to be ferocious regarding his duties, understanding how crucial being a leading figure among all heroes will be after All Might's retirement. When around people he likes, Keigo is extraordinarily talkative and can tend to have a long, one-sided conversation while helping dozens of civilians at the same time within his area of influence. He also claims to always strive for what he longs for. Keigo is highly intelligent, and he is shown to be cunning numerous times, as he had planned his actions beforehand to have explanations for the High-End Nomu accident. He is rational and more far-sighted than most other pro-heroes, allowing him the best chances to go undercover. He is level-headed and often appears to be relaxed when he is in stressful situations. An example of such was during the hero rankings for the new top charts. Keigo acts lively, expressive, and unique, as he always wants to get his point across. He claims that he is bad at keeping it in, even though he has complete control over all of his body language and facial expressions, which makes him a tremendously skilled liar. But he prefers to tell the truth, as he finds lying to require too much work. These traits allowed him to work his way into the Liberation Army efficiently. The slight change of motivation expertly conveyed to Endeavor the information about the Liberation Army's aims and change of leadership. While Keigo seems to lack interest in most things, he has a kind heart, and he was shown to save every single witness from the High-End Nomu's attacks, and is silently disgusted from the strain on himself from maintaining his duty, acting as a double agent amongst a cabal of villains and terrorists. He also feels guilty about Endeavor's scar, having coaxed the High-End Nomu's attack into a secluded area to minimize casualties. He usually seems relaxed and under-challenged like most prodigies, but he is in fact hard-working and under constant pressure from his hero career. It is known that he trained endlessly in order to maximize the effectiveness of the techniques that require his wings, refining his rescue and support combat abilities. Keigo is swift and cunning, and this is befitting of his position as the current rank 2 pro hero. He was capable of defeating an empowered villain effortlessly without paying even the slightest amount of attention, and is capable of killing 2 Nomu at the same time. Even if he is not capable of competing with his opponents power-wise, his intellect makes up for his lack of power, increasing his value as a hero to the level similar to that of Endeavor or All Might. Keigo was also capable of keeping up a conversation with Endeavor. At the same time, he rescues citizens, animals, and also takes down villains using his feathers, proving himself to be incredibly aware of his surroundings and multitask effectively. Keigo has proven himself to be highly intelligent. He is capable of tricking the surveillance of the Paranormal Liberation Front while still preserving his facades. He gathers plenty of sensitive information about the politics within the HPSC without their knowledge. Keigo is observant, collected, and quick-thinking in his verbal confrontations with Dabi and Endeavor. Keigo can control many feathers simultaneously without looking, while yet performing a seemingly relaxed conversation. Keigo's quirk is known as Fierce Wings. It grants him a large pair of wings with bright red feathers on his back. These wings enable him to fly, and he can telekinetically control the movement and nature of each individual feather with ease, allowing him to shoot them as projectiles. He can also sense the vibrations in the surrounding air through them, allowing him to find other people's locations in a way similar to echolocation. The feathers are extremely strong, capable of carrying rocks or human beings with as little as a single feather, and requiring multiple feathers for larger objects. As he sheds more feathers, his wings slowly shrink in size, compromising his ability to fly. When he loses all of his feathers, it takes a minimum of 2 days for them to regrow halfway, which can be a severe weakness. His feathers are finite and are proven to be lacking in quantity on several occasions. Keigo has also mentioned that he does not have sufficient feathers to lift up a collapsing building, but does have adequate feathers for evacuating the victims from said building. Keigo is capable of removing the feathers from his wings and controlling their properties in order to enable the feathers to be used as swords, which are strong enough to cut the 2 white Nomu summoned by the high-end Nomu. He has also been seen using these blades to threaten Dabi. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Now there are a few more things I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, I'd like to let you all know that we have a merch store. Some of the items in it are only available for a limited amount of time, so if you're interested, go into the description and check it out. Each purchase helps us make more content. Secondly, I'd like to thank our $5 and up Patreon supporters for helping to fund these videos. Lastly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank the writer for this video, as well as the audio and video editors for this video. Their details are in the description below. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or if you're interested in becoming one of these, go to the Discord that's in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for new members to join us. That's it from us for today's video. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're interested and hit that like button if you liked the video. Until next time, peace out mortals, have an amazing day.